Welcome back, each and everyone watching Mama Rugagasawa Television. You're going to be with me, Kamikaze Gislen. Now let's kick off with the news headlines. Ambassador Colonel retired Dambaje presents credentials to King Mswati III. Rwanda welcomes the Africa Blockchain Festival 2025. On the international news, Belgium to strengthen airspace security following multiple drone incursions. Now let's take a short break to be back into the news details. Welcome back. Let's start our news in Rwanda. Ambassador Colonel retired Donat Ndamage presented credentials to King Mswati III of Eswatini, authorizing him to represent Rwanda in the country during a ceremony held at the Royal Palace in Rosita on November 6, 2025. Their discussions focused on strengthening the good relations between Rwanda and Eswatini based on cooperation in sectors including technology and tourism. They discussed opportunities on both sides that could be exploited to benefit both countries. King Mswati III called on Rwandan investors to invest in the Kingdom of Eswatini, while in the early hours of the morning, Ambassador Ndamage held talks with about 80 Rwandans living in that country who are members of the RCA community. Rwanda and Eswatini already have relations in various sectors, including technology, tourism. Ambassador Ndamage stressed that this relationship will continue to expand and strengthen due to political will in both countries. Moving ahead, today at the opening of the Africa Blockchain Festival 2025, Permanent Secretary Erastu Rangwa welcomed delegates to Kigali and highlighted Rwanda's use of AI and blockchain to drive inclusive and lasting growth. He noted that blockchain is being used not just to finance, but also to build trust in governance, while AI supports health, agriculture, and education. He noted that technology should help close gaps, not widen them. PS Erastu Rangwa also stated that Rwanda wants a future where a farmer in rural village has the same access to market information as a trader in a majority city. Turning to the next story, on the sidelines of the China International Import-Export 2025, which is currently taking place in Shanghai, China, Rwanda hosted an investment summit attended by 200 businesses and industrial institutions from the country. The Director General of Investment at the Rwanda Development Board, Michel Umurungi, presented to the representative of this institution investment opportunities in Rwanda in various sectors. The forum will provide a platform to learn about Rwanda's business landscape, explore new partnerships, and showcase the country's growing investment opportunities. Now let's take a short break to be back on the international news.
ariko se reka nkubaze koko reko ntabwo koko unsize mu buriri uragiye urakarabye wambaye neza urajuje kwigunganga ngo umuntu nta kintu azongera kubona nk'ubu waba babajwe n'iki koko
ubu se nakwishima gute abandi bafite imiryango hariya muri mike y'ubucuruzi
ariko se iyo urimo kuvuga ngo mike uza ahantu mike mu mujyi rwagati we nawe urashakamo umuryango
guhera kuri miliyoni 20 urabona umuryango w'ubucuruzi hariya muri mike nta nubwo noneho ari n'umuryango w'ubucuruzi gusa dore hari amabiro hari apartoma icyo ushaka uwakunze barita baguhereza ibyangombwa yewe nayo UPI barita bayiguhereza cyaratangiye ubu ngubu bamwe batangiye kujya gusura
nshokamo inkweto tugenda gusura
nshokamo inkweto tugenda aho gusura rero
On On the international news, Belgium convened a session of its National Security Council on Thursday after drones were spotted over military bases and airports, causing a string of flight disruption and diversions from the main airport in Brussels. Princess Mugisha proceeds.
Let's start in the African news, where the Cameroon's President Paul Biya called for the calm and peace to restore order as the sun in on Thursday following the disputed election. Days of the day protest for the announcement the 92-year-old had won an eighth term in an office. Opposition leaders and supporters said the election was rigged and blamed Biya for the problems facing the country. There has been widespread international criticism for violent crackdown by the security forces on the demonstration. Data from the two United Nations sources estimate that 48 civilians were killed during the protest, while the government say at least 5 people were killed. Turning to our next story, on the international news, the country's defense minister said the National Airspace Security Center aims to be made operational from 1st January 2026. Belgium convened a session of its National Security Council on Thursday after drones were spotted over the military bases and airports, causing a string of the flight disruption and diversion from the main airport in Brussels. To tackle this threat, authorities are considering establishing an airspace surveillance center as well, introducing mandatory registration of the drones. The drone inclusion occurred where the European Union is putting pressure on the Belgium to confiscate Russian frozen assets held Euroclear in Brussels so that reconstruction loans to Ukraine can be issued. Concluding on international news, relevant Russian agents are closely monitoring the United States moves in the nuclear space. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maya Zakharova said at the news briefing. However, the situation around the United States' intention to call out nuclear tests should be clarified, as Zakharova added. Last week, United States President Donald Trump instructed the Pentagon to immediately resume nuclear weapons testing. He did not specify the type of the test he meant or whether they would involve denotation nuclear warheads. At the November 5th meeting with the Russian Security Council, President Vladimir Putin instructed the foreign and defense ministries, the special services, and the civilian agents to collect and analyze additional information and submit coordinated proposals on the potential start of the preparation for the nuclear weapon test. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told TASS that the president had not given instruction to begin preparing the test, as Putin instructed to work out the issue of the expedience of starting preparation for such a test, as Peskov explained.
As we come to the end of the news edition, let's remind you of the top stories that we talked about. Ambassador Colonel retired Ndabadje presents credentials to King Mswati III. Rwanda welcomes the Africa Blockchain Festival 2025. On the international news, Belgium to strengthen airspace security following multiple drone incursions. And this marks the end of today's news edition. Stay tuned.